This is the weather forecast video for Friday, February 3rd, 2012. Let's take a look at the satellite image from last evening. You can see a storm system over the plains with some thunderstorms from Kansas into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle. This will be bringing some snow, in fact blizzard conditions over Nebraska, Colorado, and Kansas later today. Watch warning map from just before midnight shows some blizzard warnings in the red over the Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas with winter storm warnings, advisories, a watch extending into Iowa, severe thunderstorm watch over Oklahoma, Texas, and dense fog advisory to the east of that. QPF chart precipitation over the next 5 days through Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock shows some decent amounts of precipitation over Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, also along the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana, but it cuts off sharply across the northern part of the state. Here is the NAM model of the projected snowfall, and it's been going overboard, and the amounts are a little bit overboard, but the eastern extent of this is about right, because the eastern part of the state may get little if any snow. This is a little bit better. This is the GFS, the Global Forecast System model of projected snowfall. The amounts are a little bit lower, the blue area being 8 to 10 inches, and a 1 to 2 inch stripe well to the east. Here's what HPC says, the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center. This is the probability of at least 1 inch of snow between Friday evening and Saturday evening. And it looks pretty good across the southern tier of the state. Here's 2 inches of snow, looking pretty good south of about a Sioux City to Des Moines to Ottumwa line. And from there westward with really good chances over Nebraska, Colorado, and in Kansas. This is 4 inches of snow. It looks like pretty much the far southwestern counties from about maybe Atlantic, south and west of that, and into Nebraska, Kansas, and eastern Colorado. Here's 6 inches of snow, and this looks like the probabilities of this are better west of the Missouri River from Omaha and Lincoln westward into Colorado. So let's take a look at this, the 0Z GFS Model Run. At 6 p.m. this evening, you can see the energy moving through Kansas and the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle with the upper level feature. The surface low will be in Oklahoma with some showers and storms south of that, some snow and possible blizzard conditions over Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas, and some light precip moving into the state. Heading into Saturday evening, the low will be moving over the western tip of Kentucky with some light precip of wintry mix and some snow over Nebraska and Kansas. Heading into Sunday, that storm just falls apart and fizzles, thus the reason why the further east there'll be less and less snow, and east of here there'll be almost no snow, and this is exactly why. Heading into Monday, here comes cold air again, a 1044 millibar high over Saskatchewan. We'll be bringing colder air back in, no more 40s and 50s, looks more like 20s and 30s. Even into Tuesday, that high settles into over International Falls. Some snow breaks out over Kansas, but that's not going to affect us. We're just going to stay cold with 20s and 30s. There could be a 40. But Wednesday, a little bit of warmer air begins to come back, but it's still going to be most likely in the 30s to maybe some low 40s. Upper level feature over northern Baja. That then settles southward into Mexico with rain over Texas and along the Gulf Coast. But another batch of cold air looks to be settling back toward the U.S.-Canadian border. But we'll see some warmer temperatures even into next Friday on the 10th. Ridge over the west, trough over the Great Lakes and Northeast, with a split flow, the southern jet, well into Mexico and then across the Gulf Coast. That's going to produce rain there. Snow over the Great Lakes with an Arctic front that's bringing cold air down into the eastern lakes and New England. And some rain and snow over the southwest and over the west coast. Further into February, here on Valentine's Day, trough axis across the center part of the country with the ridge building in from the west into California. And that's going to bring some possible snow or a few flurries across the state on Valentine's Day. And with some rain south of that, another storm over the Pacific Northwest that's about to come in. End of the forecast, the 18th. A pretty decent trough over the east and a pretty decent ridge over the west. Upper level feature off Baja, California. And with that, some colder air comes streaming down into the south with some snow and rain there, and another storm over the Gulf of Alaska. But the NAO is still positive, so we'll see if this continues on new runs. Thank you for tuning in to the weather forecast video. We'll have another one tomorrow.